with understanding the many cultures that make each one of us who we are. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. It's an honor and a pleasure to have the opportunity to talk at the Plato Academy. Thank you. I want to start by talking about how to thrive in a multicultural world. And I want to start with one fact about this. First of all, it's not easy. As the world grows flatter and smaller, we will collide with each other more and more, and we have to think about how we can avoid that if possible. I want to offer a few suggestions today, but this is the problem with thriving in a multicultural world. It's a daunting, a very huge challenge. I think that thriving will begin with understanding the many cultures that make each one of us who we are. I think that's the first step. Now, as I start on explaining this today, I want to put up the caution sign, and as it says her cultural comparisons and generalization ahead, I have to say that I am a European American social and cultural psychologist, and I'm going to talk about differences between the East and the West. When I'm talking about the West, I will mean Americans in the United States. When I'm talking about the East, I'm going to talking about Koreans, Japanese, and Chinese, and refer to this group as East Asians. Now, as an American, I know that America is a very diverse place, that people who voted for Hillary Clinton are not the same as people who voted for Donald Trump. I know that. I also know that among East Asians, there are equal amount of diversity. I know that Koreans are not Japanese, are not Chinese, and so forth. I understand great variation. But in our studies in cultural psychology, we have found that there are some patterns of behavior when you compare East and West that can be identified that are a function of our different national cultures. And I want to talk about those today and see what they can explain. Stanford, I am a university professor, and in that role, I have the opportunity to teach students from all over the world, many Korean undergraduate students and many Korean graduate students, and I have the opportunity to learn from them about some of the clashes that they experience when they come from Korea to the United States. And let me start by telling you, first of all, a story of one student who has been particularly helpful to me looking at East and West patterns. Her name was Hee-jung Kim. She came from Seoul to study in Stanford to work on her PhD. Now, like most American professors in my seminars, I want the students to contribute I want them to talk and express their ideas and opinions. That's what I expect. But with Hee-jung, there was nothing I could do would get her to contribute to the class. I couldn't get her to raise her hands and talk if I call her on. She would look at her hands, study the table, and she just wouldn't contribute even if I said next week I'm going to call you. She still wouldn't say anything. So this was challenging to me. And one day I noticed on her email there was a proverb by this signature, and it said simply, "The empty carriage rattles the loudest." So it took me a while to understand that. I didn't get it at first, but then I realized that this is Hee-jung telling the American professor that she thought that very often the people that talk the most have the least to say. So this was fascinating to me. And as I got to know Hee-sung better, I learned that she had grown up in schools that looked approximately like this. These are schools where students encouraged to sit calmly with quiet